everybody, it's Lisa Grundit. It's later in the evening here, and it's been a good day. It's been a great day, and I realized listening to a lot of other folks today, and listening to when others were trying to shh them. Has anyone ever tried to shh you? Maybe in your childhood, maybe you were so excited about something and you were talking really loudly about it, or there was just so much passion and enthusiasm in your energy and your voice and your spark, and maybe that was a little too much for some people, or maybe they felt that you were a little too much. And so when we get that message, when some of us get that message, then we have tendency to try to be a little bit more quiet, so that we don't disturb others. And the world is not a library. The world is not the place where we need to be shh. Not everywhere do we need to use our inside voice. And maybe there aren't any places where we need to use our inside voice, because I don't even think it's quiet in libraries anymore. I think that they have a special room that's a quiet room with the door shut, where you can go, where you can concentrate or whatever. It's not like it was when I was a kid, when the librarian was very stern and you couldn't make any noise or you would be tossed out. And you're not going to be tossed out of your own life or in the lives of those around you either. And so, I was lucky to be hanging out with a couple of 8-year-olds over this weekend, and they were so deliciously loud, and they were so deliciously exuberant, and they would just giggle and giggle and giggle, and all of us at the table with them would giggle and giggle and giggle, because that's what it's all about. And we were in a restaurant. And we were in a restaurant. However, they weren't up and running around the table. They weren't wild. They were just excited. And we were playing a game at the table, and we were just having so much fun. Because we have this thing called a voice. And I got to go up at Mount Charleston yesterday, and they've built a couple of amphitheaters there, and they just look like outdoor theaters. And then we noticed that there were some lines that were running to a focal point. And so just following the lines, then we noticed that our voices were changing. And it wasn't that our voices were changing, our voices were amplified. And when we stood right where all of those lines came together, then the voice was amplified to such an extent that we could speak really loudly. Here I've raised my voice in this video for amplification. However, right there in that spot, we could be heard throughout the entire amphitheater. It was magnificent, with the mountains as the backdrop to that amphitheater. I stood there and I sang out to the heavens, to the mountains, to anyone where my voice would reach, into myself, that I still have books inside of me to be written. And so what is inside of you? Is it a book? Is it a play? Is it a song? Is it a scrapbook? Is it jewelry? Is it fixing something? Are you an engineer? Is it those kids that you want to play with and make a difference in their life? Is it a book you want to read? Whatever it is, if you were standing there up in the mountains in that amphitheater where your voice could reach everywhere, what would you say? Because I got some very good advice this weekend. I was working with my mastermind folks, and I got to have a power day with my coach. And what I learned was the book that has been difficult for me to write right now is because I don't have the right message in the book. Because the book is Think and Grow Thin. And I know that it's not really thinking and growing thin. It just kind of seemed like a catchy title because of the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, that a lot of people are aware of that book. And so I thought I would just take a similar title. And I realized after a conversation that the book is really from self-hate to self-love. And those seem like really strong words, and they are. Because who wants to say it's self-hate? And yet any time that we self-sabotage, any time that we scold ourselves, any time we're in judgment of ourselves, any time we are punishing ourselves. Because when we are children, when we do something wrong, we're punished. And as we're adults and we do something that we perceive to be wrong, there's no one there to punish us. And so we punish ourselves again and again and again and again and again. An old mentor of mine, David Rourke, used to say that, even when a criminal was sentenced to jail, even if it was life, he still had an end date on a sentence. And yet, as we punish ourselves, we never give ourselves an end date on the sentence. And so the punishing continues. And the word is self-hate, and I don't like to say that much more than probably anyone likes to hear it. And it's the journey to self-love. It's the rediscovery of self-love. It's the loving ourselves, because that's not conceited, that's not selfish, that's not egotistical, it's not maniacal. It's just simply love. And love is always the answer. Love is always the way. So the book is really called From Self-Hate to Self-Love. So your voice, your passion, what is it? What is it? Because I guarantee you have it. And perhaps you live in some of it, perhaps you live in most of it, or perhaps you're not even sure that there's some kind of dream inside of you because your life's pretty good. Absolutely, your life's pretty good. And you were born for greatness. So this is Lisa. I hope that you're having a very pleasant evening. Beginning tomorrow, I'm going to start doing these at a regular time so that it's always out there at a regular time. And I will see you tomorrow. You have a very, very beautiful evening. Goodbye. Good night.